Who did this song?
They're all Kevin MacLeod. Everything this campaign so far.
Everyone's friend, Kevin MacLeod.
Everyone's friend. Except for one special song that I commissioned for tonight that you'll hear later.
That's wild. Thank you, Kevin MacLeod.
Thank you, Kevin MacLeod.
Thank you.
At the beginning of the playthrough, I thought I would get provoke, which would cause if I taunt someone and get a raise, then they have to attack me, which is terrifying. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do provoke. Let's do provoke instead of work the crowd.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that like could elicit attacks of opportunity.
Provoke can be very powerful. It also may kill Cassidy. I'm about to turn this into a Benny Hall final boss fight.
The Benny Hall problem.
Everyone's scared?
Yes. We're all gonna die.
I don't care about the fate of the characters. I just mean like the being good.
Oh no.
I'm always worried. It's stressful.
Yes.
Going into the final session. The truth is that Ka is just too powerful, so it can't go wrong. No pressure.
Truly.
No pressure on Ka.
Ka and Aeria combined will carry this episode.
Aeria has made an upsetting amount of art. Speaking of Vegas, you can say hi to Horrorbuns in TFF this weekend, and you can say hi to, well, that was the first part, and then in a couple of weeks you can say hi to me and Ka and Toaster in Vegas for the LVFC.
Hell yeah.
Keep an eye out.
We will be hard to find.
Good luck recognizing us. I have consistently been standing next to Keith while other people recognize Keith, and then they just never recognize me.
Well, your face
I
isn't
recognized his
anywhere.
sandals once.
I did get recognized.
If you see Keith, just say a bad take out loud and watch
that is true.
Crumples over.
That is true.
Yeah.
Toaster's been recognized once ever as Sandals.
Yes, I have been.
It was at a room. It was at a room party full of like streamers and stuff, and somebody recognized him as being Sandals.
They were like, "Oh, Sandals," and I was like, "Yeah, hey," and then they just like walked off, and I was like, "Okay."
Actually, wonderfully appropriate.
This was a perfect time to break because I gotta pee so bad. I'm dying.
Yeah, do the same. I'll be right back.
That's why I said that Toaster should just make that his pinned post on Blue Sky. It's just, I gotta pee.
Do they have pin post on there now?
No, but they need to add them so that Toaster can pin that, because it's always true.
Yeah.
Kind of wild that like the bees are kind of overtaking him. He's like becoming a bee.
It's the bee plot.
What the hell? Shut up. Oh my god.
I'm emotionally drained in real life.
Good. I like that reaction to my players. Thank you all for joining us for Deadlaws. This has been an absolutely wonderful season. I am so grateful to have all these wonderful players here. I am so grateful for our amazing staff artist, Aeria Quies. And I want to give a special thanks to our guest composer for this episode, who composed a theme today for Barbados's entrance, Starkeeper. We will add their URL to the doobly-doo. They came in clutch. That was amazing.
Great.
That's
incredible.
They took the old Mozart, Beethoven or Mozart? I forget because I'm a fool. And that was remixed and used as the fight theme for Barbados, and they made like that march introduction we used for him. It was
incredible.
amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So rad.
Oh, thank you guys so much. This has been such an amazing campaign.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Thank you so much, Ka.
Oh,
what the heck?
So good.
Oh.
Thank all of you watching. There's so many people in the chat. This is astounding.
It feels really good to have written a thing that people like.
Yeah.
And it worked. I feel really satisfied. Sometimes you look back at a thing that you did and you're like, damn, I'm good. That feels good.
Hell yeah.
It feels good to make good stuff. Like more so than even having people appreciate it. Like I think the moral of the story is if you find something that you want to make, put all the effort in to make it. It's worth it. Play your hand, do what you can.
I
'Cause it
spent the
feels
last
good to
3
make
hours
stuff.
in a state of panic.
I'm glad no one got killed by giant rocks.
Oh, we were so close to
That
having
was-
huge
Oh my
rock
God.
deaths.
The fact that the
Rocks
two
fall,
people,
everyone dies. It happens. It's real.
the fact
The
that both those
conviction
people had
rolls.
conviction and nobody else in the entire game ever had conviction is absurd.
That is
Great.
insane.
Beezus
Also, like,
saves
I had a
again.
different plan every turn. I went in with a certain plan for the night. Not a single thing I ever planned at any step of the way went as planned. And then at the end, I was like, oh god, I know how this ends. It's because we have to pay off the gun, and it's like, this fucking thing's going to take its revenge, whether Cassie does it or not, and the best he can do is to redirect it to Erebus. I'm like, Cassie's gonna get fucking smoked by Erebus, is what's gonna be how this ends.
I
So-
love the
so
idea
even-
that this sets up that the Martindale family has a blood feud with Erebus. Like, what does that mean? That's fascinating.
Oh, I love that. I'm gonna use that.
Oh no. Is that what happened to Margot?
M. Argo? Makes you think.
Maybe that's where all the old money that
The family of actors.
Martin Martindale had to buy the rights to what happened at Cape Karma. Maybe this is where it came from. His monster hunting dynasty.
I think
With Cassidy
Nicodemus is
surviving.
gonna keep dream walking, and I think he's probably not going to be able to get the idea of Edward Kettle out of his head.
I love that.
There might be
I
further
think-
developments with that then in another campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Cassidy
Yeah.
actually surviving, which I didn't know if that would happen. Then the connection to Cape Escape may not be a coincidence.
There wasn't a moment for it, but like Lynn just definitely gives you like a giant fucking swat on the back and says, "Good job, hero.
Oh.
Earned your title." Oh yeah, it fucking hurts.
I think I was
Good
about to be a little bit salty that I had not taken a single wound in this campaign, and then I was about to insta die to rocks.
That is very funny.
Yeah.
Cassidy is also never.
It's like
Cassidy
Kaw-
also never was wounded a single time.
It's like
It's like my one
Kaw was holding a
weakness,
hose and like bent the hose and then just let it all out at once.
Jesus.
That was a nightmare. I just wanted to Spider-Man Lynn into the monster's eye to Harley Quinn punch it.
Oh, that would have been cool.
If initiative
Been
was
gross.
better, I was gonna convince his rope to take him to the monster's face when he was standing up still. But then 17 things happened between turns.
Oh, yeah. I'm very thankful that I got the railgun back one last time.
Oh,
Especially
yes.
because that was my only time doing physical damage to him as well. Because everything I did prior was just like trying to shake him and distract him.
And you
to
did
make him more
such a good
vulnerable.
job of that. So creative too.
But thank you. Yeah, I was always trying to think of like what can I do to instead of just like trying to attack them physically right away, what would Conrad do to try to solve a problem, sort of thing.
That was fantastic. And Beck, keeping
Mhm.
Erebus from eating the wheel.
Oh, what a
Oh my
fucking roll.
God.
Can we have like a moment of silence for how good my dice were this time? All you non-believers out there, like Toaster rolls low. I crit every turn. I was so on the ball today. Oh, it
curious-
could not have gone better.
What would have happened if he had eaten the wheel?
If Erebus had successfully eaten the wheel, he would have restored a portion of the power that was stolen from him by the lords, enough that he could assume direct control of Beck and force a Beck boss fight as the final showdown.
Oh, cool.
Empowered Beck, baby.
No.
Because
All
with
of my
empower-
dice would have gotten better.
with the wheel in Erebus and Beck at his side, he would have been now keen to reclaim the other two anchors by force.
Mm-hmm.
The ones
Like an-
inside Petticoat and Gurgle.
Ooh, okay.
I rolled another
Oh.
d6 out of spite, which is
I
that.
feel like-
So my
I feel
taunt
like-
was actually a 24.
Okay.
I forgot to add conviction.
Oh
thought-
yeah.
Speaking of loose threads, that horse of mine,
Uh-huh.
The Lord of Order.
I'm wondering what's going to come of that.
That's a good question. That's something we can explore in future Gnollplaying.
Is there still a long horse?
I
in
feel
the
like
stable?
too with
Long horse will return.
Yeah, where's Longhorse at? He's just wandering the other side. Like, we're gonna get the after credit scene that's just him slowly walking across the frame and then never not walking across the frame even after he exits.
yes.
It's a loop animation that plays over the very long credits.
It's like the
Oh god.
It's like the intro portion of the Window Licker music video.
yes. The endless limo. Fuck yes.
Oh
Yeah.
god, yes. That's so good.
Oh, love it. Hate it, but love it.
Hate it. No,
I-
it's great.
I really love this revolving
It's a good Longhorse
universe we've created. I think there's so much. I was really not sure at the start here how we would close this out and like what threads would be left open, but I'm very happy with the ones that we got, and I'm happy with the opportunities we had to like set up ongoing plot threads. Cause like, yeah, Beck died, but he died on the wheel, and he went somewhere else.
He went up.
He went straight to hell.
He went up. His revenge is not over, but the way that manifests, as Deirdre thought, he is a lighthouse in the darkness, standing against Erebus and everything else. So I think that's like a fun arc too, is like this idea of Beck this whole time kind of having this like symbiotic relationship. It was mentioned earlier in chat on like the first episode or whatever, but like symbiotic relationships and parasitic relationships are sort of paradoxical. But like in that paradox is where Beck and Erebus live, is this idea of this thing that is evil and stands against everything that Beck actually wants, is necessary for his quest, and was like a partnership that fed off of him as much as he needed it. And in the end, you know, he gets his big moment. And this was not scripted. The dice I rolled to hold Erebus's jaw open was chance, and I managed to get it, and that's amazing. And
Thanks,
now
Marty.
we get
Huge.
Chance
we
rolled
get-
that?
yes, chance rolled that. But it was I mean, it's just like this really great moment narratively of like Beck turning his back on the shadow and telling this creature that he's relied on, even in this episode, to say like, no, like sit, like back off, heal.
No.
And now what is the antithesis to darkness if not a lighthouse, right? And like, if not something that lights the way. And this idea of his rebellion kind of echoed throughout time and space and all of these different layers of existence. You know, he had his own wheel that he died on, and the spokes of that wheel are those lighthouses. So I think that's really cool. And then, of course, I got to be self-indulgent and introduce a character that I've been waiting to introduce for quite some time. My favorite character I've ever written is Deirdre Gorman. She's a character that shows up in Beck's Patreon story, his backstory that I wrote. She only exists for like a chapter or two in there, but she's a character that I like a lot. And yeah, well, I'm curious to see if we all will meet her son, Flynn Gorman, sometime in the future.
Yeah, maybe.
It's interesting. She's a black cat that had a son that has tiger stripes. That's weird. Wonder what that's about.
Probably
Anyway,
nothing.
Oh.
And that poor boy got Terry McGinnis.
Lynn and
he's
Echo,
a very
you
nice
say.
boy. He's super charming. He's voiced by Todd Haberkorn. That's a joke for two people.
Which two? I don't know if they got it.
me and Todd Haberkorn.
Okay.
It's a joke for one person.
Yeah.
Wow, we did it.
I'm
I'm
still
in the
gonna draw
afterglow
Lynn.
here. I'll
That
do
bo-
it.
that
Draw
boy-
Lynn
yeah.
forever.
Why,
It makes me
man?
happy.
It's not
Yeah.
gonna stop. You can't stop me. You physically can't stop me.
I mean, he survived.
You'll have to
He has
tie
more
me up.
adventures to go on.
There are certainly more adventures to be had. And perhaps we'll return and see what adventures are in store for certain members of this crew. I don't imagine we'll see them all in one place again, especially because one of them's dead.
Mhm.
Whoops, the honey made Lynn immortal, and he's still the same age and current Clawstar year.
I mean, being dead didn't stop Beck before, so you never know.
Anything could happen.
Are you saying there's an immortal, ageless Wolverine?
You don't
and he's
get to
getting in
keep-
the ring?
You don't get to keep benning death.
He's immortal, but he's daddy age forever.
Oh.
I'm looking
Perfect.
forward to seeing the inevitable Frasier-style spin-off of Chance and Madoska on their single-set TV show. Like, that's what I want.
Oh, love it.
I didn't know I wanted that, but yeah.
It's funny. It's good stuff.
Excellent. Well, thank you guys so much.
Thank you again
Indeed.
for both
This is
Toaster
amazing.
and Kaw for like bringing all this together, inviting all of us at the table here, and it's just been such an incredible time and ride. And
I feel like
I
I'm
really want to
melting.
thank Aeria too.
Yes.
yes,
Like that, just the imagery of this campaign, so incredible.
Yep.
It made it so easy to play the scene.
It was really amazing to have all these ideas. Like, I talked to Ka about this setting and these rules and this magic and like this dream world that I came up with. And, you know, like all ideas, this started well before even Cape Escape for me. A lot of these ideas are things that I've written and unwritten and written and, you know, gone back and forth on for years. So to see Aeria's art, just like, I never spoke to Aeria. I never had a one-on-one. I never talked to Aeria about the art direction of this series. And yet he brought it to life, like exactly as I imagined it, which is just so amazing. And I remember the first time we saw that the background of the Leviathan's skeleton in the desert, I was like, yeah. Like, he gets it.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. This is it. We did it. Like, this is exactly my brain distilled into this setting. And it was just so satisfying to see that. And, you know, obviously this was a collaborative project. It wasn't just me. It wasn't just Ka. It wasn't just Aeria. You know, it kind of came together and evolved with all of us. And as we played it, even the things that I wrote originally and the things that Ka wrote for the campaign, I'm sure did not go as originally intended, but it all is just so tightly woven, you know, that it never felt incohesive. And I really treasure that. That's a very rare feeling and something that should be really like cherished, I think.
I definitely get the feeling we were meant to spend a longer time in the town itself, but I really loved this dream walk nightmare.
I thought we were gonna be there even less.
It's so much fun.
Aeria was super involved and responsive. Like, it was wild that we would just like write horror lore, and then the next week it would be sprites. I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck is happening?
I love it.
Because Aeria does the backgrounds and the sprites, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I've been working this poor boy to
What
the bone.
the hell?
The donkey is so
That's
fashionable.
incredible. Absolutely
Why is the
incredible.
donkey so fashionable?
Sometimes I'll ask someone for like 4 sprites, and it will take me a year to get one.
Yes, I know this experience.
Insane.
We've all done furry
Insane.
commissions.
Yes. I've been on both sides of that.
I think, you know, this is a good opportunity to state, like, this show is an outlier. We are obviously, we're all in the furry community. We're all involved. We all try our very best to support the community and to pull on artists and writers and players that are also members of the community. And as a result, we want to pay people, you know, a livable wage for this. We want to pay we want to respect their time. We want people to showcase their art. This is not just an experience for us to sit on a platform and like become popular. This is a game that we play to like look at the creative efforts that people want to put in and showcase like different talents and different ideas. And so being able to work with so many different artists and now composers, and now even just like seeing Ka like work at his best, like this is the best. What, there are few DMs as good as this. Like seeing people actually be an expert in their field and do their creative best is really just so fulfilling and so wonderful. But without getting into the actual like math of it, like this is very expensive to produce. Yeah, this is a Patreon thing. Please feel free to subscribe to us on Patreon if you want to see more of this. There will be more campaigns. There will be more cool artists and cool players. I'm sure we'll have seasons that, we'll have different player lineups. And I don't want to announce too early. There are no details available for this yet, but there will be a campaign that we play probably after Cape Escape 2 where I'm going to be DMing.
Yeah.
So prepare for that as well. That'll be a thing. But a long story short is we want to use this as a platform to showcase more creative people and creative efforts and really make something cool. And we couldn't do it without the support of everyone here in chat. And that doesn't even just mean monetary support. That means sharing the link with your friends and trying to get people to watch these VODs. These VODs really
tell
help
everyone.
us.
All these videos have like 1,000 views total.
Yeah.
Tell everybody that you think would like to see the thing, because it's hard to get shows on YouTube to be noticed at all.
Yeah.
And this is neat, right? This is neat. I'm biased.
I think it's neat. I think it's good. And I think we're doing things in
maybe
like a
one
very...
day Ka will make, I don't even know if it'll be a profit, but it won't be out of pocket, at least, if you get on the Patreon.
I like food.
Yeah.
If Ka can afford to pay the audience, to pay the artists, that'd be a good start.
And we have plans for some other things, possibly some merch, possibly some more short stories, lots of cool rewards and things.
Do not sell these people toes.
There are currently 5 prequel stories for Deadlaws alone on the Patreon.
Yeah.
5. There's 5 stories.
The people demand toes.
There are 5
only
stories.
$5 to read 5 stories.
I guess this goes without saying. There are going to be 2 more stories written by me. They're really short, but they're going to be on the Patreon eventually. One of them is going to go live here soon, probably whenever Ka wants to put it up, tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the other one will probably be a little bit later. But yeah, we're going to keep this going. This is where I get to say, now that Deadlaws is over, I can spend more time developing Cape Escape Development Hell, which I've been working on this the entire time, but it has been going slowly because I've been so busy. So there's more Cape Escape Development Hell where this is coming from as well. So please look at the Patreon for that.
Life slows down a little bit during Gnollplaying game seasons because it occupies brain space once a week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Once a week.
Yeah. My whole week. It's all I think about. But yeah, also thanks to everyone who's like making fan art and stuff. This has been a
God, yeah.
wild
Fan art is so good.
ride.
It's so good.
I cannot express like just I will be having the worst dark thoughts in the middle of the night, like awake, filled with anxiety, thinking about like student loans in the shape of the world. And then I click the on button on my phone, and instead of being blasted by the worst takes imaginable on the internet, I open Blue Sky and I have 27 notifications because a bunch of people have made fan art of Beck. Like, that's fucked up. Why do you... Thank you. Why would you do that? But also thank you. So it's really nice. It's really wonderful to see people respond to the characters that we've put our hearts and souls into. It's been really, really special.
Please remember to piss vigorously in the memory of Tesla Beck.
Thank you.
And Toaster, honestly.
Yes.
Pour one out for him.
Pee off the side of a train.
Onto the person you murdered.
If you cannot locate a train, any moving vehicle will do.
Store-bought's
great
okay.
stuff. But yeah, it's
Cassidy
been
ended
really
the way
wonderful.
he began. Pathetic.
Crying like a baby.
Yeah.
Hiding under a bar towel?
Screaming and wallowing in filth.
No. No.
Well, at least he's got a book deal out of it.
his one good roll was not shooting back.
That was a damn good roll.
For the entire
that was
night.
great.
He also got a really good taunt off.
That was a really good taunt.
That's why he had to book it.
I had a whole monologue planned. I guess if we have time, we can get into some of the things that we had planned that didn't happen. But I had a whole monologue written. This is the only monologue I actually prepared for the entire thing. Where if Cassidy shot me, Beck was gonna turn to him and call him Argo, and if he put up a fight about the name Argo, he was gonna say basically like, "You took this name. And so it's time for you to live by it. You made your choice. There's no hiding from who you really are. Argo Martindale." And then he was going to die. But, you know, that sort of thing.
Petty
but
little shit, always getting the last word in.
Yeah. So it was gonna be good. It was gonna be real good, but it didn't happen, and I was very happy because I got to die doing my favorite trope of all time, which is dying while still standing. Where Beck is doing a cool pose and dies like in the cool pose. He doesn't slump over. That's always my favorite like anime trope, is like someone who dies standing up.
That's a good one.
We gotta move this wheel, y'all.
Please do not build a fountain out of
the
this.
walking space.
Looking at my notes of things I never got to do, I had a concept for something just called the Burning Man. I don't know what I was going to do with that.
What do you mean by you don't know?
I don't know.
He just wrote those words and forgot.
The Burning Man question mark?
The Burning Man question mark. And then I also I wanted you guys to run into another Dreamwalker out there, just an old wolf with a guitar called Grimshaw. Tell you how things were, but I figured Meduska kind of filled that role, so I cut him.
He's our Johnny
Is there
Guitar.
art of any of them secrets?
Dreamman.
Is there art you never got to use?
No, these were concepts I wrote down and then like slowly took off the Trello so Aeria wouldn't have to draw them.
More freaky witches, please.
More freaky witches is good. We could have a Gnollplaying Games The Craft season.
Yes. So here's the thing about that. I have the entire lore of the witches, including their like this was the other side season where we get to live on the other side, but we've seen like not even a small portion of the other side.
I'm excited.
And so I have like an entire map and an entire list of like, here are the witch states. Here are their cities. Here is the politics of the underworld or the other side that I have written out for how these magic beings exist. Like
Witchington, DC.
I would love to do a 1990s Mall Goth The Craft season using witch lore from this, and I am so prepared for it.
And again,
I'm gonna
movie
have
homework.
to talk like this.
Yes,
That's a kids on bike right there.
Yeah, we need a Kids on Bikes, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 90s Goth The Craft season so bad. I'm not going to DM that season. I would
mall
fucking
goths
play
that are
that.
living out of the abandoned mall.
Oh yes, God, it would be so good.
I'm gonna have to coordinate with you, Toaster, on like kind of what happens with Conrad after the events here, because he's very much his whole thing is none of this was scripted, but we talked about this briefly like a couple weeks ago, where as soon as he got paired with Gurgle, just in my head I'm like, oh, Conrad's gonna take advantage of the Goblin Town, not in a way that's bad for them, but just take advantage of the situation where it's not like a romantic thing he has with Gurgle, but it's more of just like a
monetize.
I get along with this guy, and I can learn from them, and I can teach them things too, and I want to know more about this other side thing. So Conrad's very much research focused while he's out there.
Yeah.
While also teaching them things, which might be a bad thing that he's doing that.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I think there's a lot of potential without getting into too many spoilers, especially about Cape Escape development hell. But like these ideas of like how does what happened here in Southpaw elaborate into the state of being that we saw the other side, and just like the world in Cape Karma in Cape Escape. This idea of like, what's up with potatoes? What organization is she working with that seems to know about the other side? Is that a problem we need to think about? Who formed that? What's going on there?
Didn't Conrad get a message right before things went dark?
Yes, he did.
Yes. And yeah. I have thoughts about that.
Interesting.
Cassidy might have seen the person the message came from.
There's so much. I think there's so much happening. There's so many ideas too of like, what's his name? Barbatus took Conrad's co-workers, and like who else was hanging from those horns, and there's just so many different things to build off of. And like, again, with Argo, one of the things I really liked, or Cassidy I should say, is this idea of this revolver going off and like him trying to persuade it towards Erebus. This idea that like, maybe there is like sort of a line here for the Martindales and for them as people, that like some sort of lineage comes from this, even though it's not his real name. Maybe there is some sort of link or familial relation that kind of inherits these responsibilities or these connections. And there's just so many cool connections between. Exactly. There's so many cool connections here between this and Cape Escape that I think could do really interestingly.
Did you ever have any deities of order or reflections of order in Cape Escape?
No, they were mostly dealing with
Desire, right?
Yeah,
the viewers of Desire.
Hey,
And
give us
we
some
saw
toes.
The ones we saw
one
being
day.
harvested for their Iker in this one.
Do it for the toes.
So another really
maybe
big
Iceberg will find his way there one day.
maybe, yeah. Iceberg is a very close. This is not a character.
Spoilers.
Yeah, this is not a character you would know if you haven't seen Cape Escape. But Iceberg is a character that will be very. That I mean, who knows? Who knows if he ever met up with Petticoat? That's all I'm gonna say. Very possible, given how closely their designs mirror each other, right?
I think they get along.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Iceberg and Petticoat, like that one Elden Ring boss
Yes,
Yeah.
Oh
with the
god.
small horse.
that's very good.
Right
And-
on.
I mean, and even more than that, these ideas of like, okay, maybe Iceberg fell to the domain of order, and that's why he is the way he is at the end, and all of these cool ideas there. I one of the things I will say is that like Cape Escape started as a test for us. We did Cape Escape as basically an evolved home game. Ka reached out to me and was like, hey, I have an idea for this thing. We're going to run it basically like my home game. Do you want to make content out of it? And I was like, sure. Okay, why not? And then all of a sudden Keith got involved and Marty got involved and Illusory Law
I
got
reached out
involved.
to Illusory and Marty.
And
and
McSkinny, yeah, and everyone got involved, and it kind of became a bigger thing than it started as. But it's so cool to look at that as our template, because Cape Escape is a very world-spanning story of like, oh no, this could be like an actual end of the world scenario, but it's also like a flash in the pan. It takes place over the course of basically a single night in a very small region of the United States. And like using the lore that we have built, like the other side, the shape of the other side shifts, it moves. The domain that is under Cape Karma is not necessarily literally spatially linked to where Southpaw is, right? So we were able to go into Deadlaws with a much different plan of like, okay, we are making a show. How do we do this? How do we make this work? How do we write around this? And it's been so fun to chart and see how Cape Escape's incidental improvised lore and story, which was basically just like a random one-off altered world event that happened in this place, to use Alan Wake terminology, and how that kind of then is informed by this like huge world building and kind of truly grand and sweeping narrative we wrote with Deadlaws. And it was very fun to see that. I had a lot of fun playing in that space.
Chat headcanon's moving too fast, and now they've decided that Killer Dave eats toes.
Oh.
No.
It's all it's
He's
such
not
cohesive
welcome.
lore.
Conrad would not let him into the Goblin Village. if there's time travel shenanigans, he's not welcome there.
No way.
For at least some people, Killer Dave just got hotter, which seemed impossible.
It's funny. A lot of people, in the chat also they're arguing about the shipping and the canon and who is getting what, and it's fun. I had a lot of fun seeing people ship characters. Unfortunately, Beck is the second straight character that I've played, so I apologize. I'll have to make good on this for everyone and play like a real gay character in some session in the future. I don't know if it will be the one that I DM. I'm sure there will be gay characters in the one that I DM, but maybe in whatever the next campaign that we do in between seasons, if I don't get mine out first, maybe I'll play a real gay bunny or something like a really gay character just to help the shippers out a
Toaster,
little
you
bit.
need to play a cat that goes nya.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Woo. I mean, people talk about all the voices that we do and the voice that I do for Beck, and just imagine how powerful I would be with the most stereotypical gay voice of all time.
That's a word for it.
One of these days, I'll play somebody who's not a touch-starved disaster gay that's contrarian. He'll just be a head-empty himbo. He's gonna talk like this the whole time, and he's gonna be really positive and simple.
I'm looking forward to it.
Or I'll just make Titus. Gay Titus.
Oh, Ka, I wanted to
You can
ask
handle some balls. Yep.
regarding like plans of like things that
That's
didn't
why
go
there's a
certain way.
sphere grid.
In the previous episode, you were expecting us to like have like a boss encounter where we were running from that boss.
Yeah.
Was that like? Did you have planned like puzzle elements to like do like? Was there going to be some sort of non-combat solution to that?
Essentially, I was going to have you keep doing the labyrinth, but with penalties, and like every time you failed, he would have caught up and taken some swipes at you.
Oh,
But also, I
skating
planned.
through.
Yeah, if you had gotten to the end, then I wanted a scene where one of the little ghost things, the La Sombra, appeared, and I had it rigged up so that only Dax can see them. And I wanted a reaction where he's freaking out and talking about the thing, and none of the other players can see it. But we didn't quite get there.
That's rad.
No one gets to have their plans. No one.
I got to do a big punch.
You did. You did some real good big punches.
I got to hold Chance's hand.
Yeah.
Invisible hand.
Visible hand.
There's so many moving targets.
It can't be a public display of affection if you don't see it. Huh.
The Airbud rule.
He's so brave holding my hand in public.
That's been cited in court cases, I'll have you know.
Yeah, Nico was gay, but I mean,
Oh.
If you haven't, if you're not on the Patreon or whatever and haven't read Conrad's backstory, that straight up addresses the gay sexual encounter he had. It is extremely not horny though. So just be prepared if you're trying to be like, oh, what's the deal with that? Just like be prepared for depressing, agonizing stuff. So
All sad
You know, real
gays.
gays.
Yeah.
but he is gay, so
Yeah, Beck is straight, unfortunately. I have built yet another villainous character that likes women. You're welcome, world. This is the representation you needed.
There's like a slider here where the straighter they are, the more evil they are.
Well, there was
Well,
at
I
How
least
do
made-
you keep doing this?
So I made Sandals, who I do think that people misunderstand, but also I did design him to be Jet's worst nightmare, which is like a suburban waspy white PBS kid. Like he's he's straight. He'd probably be really into crypto. Like he's just not, he's, you know, his parents are old and he went to a public school and probably has a library card. Like really, he plays pickleball. Like, come on.
He's got
But then-
that old seed.
Beck is also Beck is also incredibly evil and a very bad person. But you know, what can I say?
At least
He's a
Deadlaws
cat
has
person.
one canonical, extremely horny gay encounter.
I
It
think
does, yes.
despite Beck being evil, he had very relatable goals, right?
Yeah.
And I think goals were
Destroy your
what-
enemies, yeah.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Well, I mean, a very specific enemy who is gaining immortality and also basically is partly responsible for our town being where it was. Like,
We've all been there, yeah.
I mean,
I need to take my dogs out. I gotta they are not happy, so I gotta go do that.
Yeah. Thanks for
Hope y'all
coming.
have a fantastic
Have fun
night.
at the
Thank you once
convention.
again.
Absolutely. Thank
Have
you.
a great
man.
night.
Thank you.
All right, I gotta drive tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. Have fun at
Drive
TFF.
safe.
Everyone, say hi to Dax at TFF.
Yeah, if this is the stream. If you're watching this
Beam
idle
up.
on idle banter, it's over, I think.
Go back in time and then say hello.
Yeah. Tell us how your Dax encounter was in the comments.
Yeah.
All right, bye for real this time.
See ya.
Goodbye.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. With Beck, Beck is a character that I feel very proud of, and it's like it's really hard. I'm half an hour after his death. All right, so like let's. I don't know if I'm in exactly the right mindset to talk about exactly everything about him from like a position of clarity, but I'm very satisfied with him, and I'm very glad that people seem to understand him because I think a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking that a villain with reasonable motives and or ideas is ultimately justified, you know? And like, I don't know if Beck's justification does not absolve him of like all of the horror that he's inflicted, but it does make him more relatable, and it does make him a more interesting character because it calls into question like a real life situation of like, do you get in bed with your enemy if there's a bigger enemy? You know, like what do you do when the times actually are tough? Are you going to lay in this town and die as the barrier slowly shrinks and you get eaten by this gigantic Lord of Hunger? Or do you say, all right, the guy who was good enough to shoot me within an inch of my life might be the best chance we have at stopping this? And that's interesting. I really like the divide between ethics and morals, where it's like the moral option is to try and kill Beck at every opportunity and like strip him of power and prevent him from doing any more harm. But the ethical choice is like, how do we reduce the amount of harm done? We ally with him. And like, that's really interesting and fascinating to me. And that's what motivated the character.
For me, like as like a character who cared about cause and effect, not allying with Beck would have probably gotten every single person in the town who he wanted to save killed.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And that was more important to him than taking out his frustrations.
Yes.
On just this outlaw. But to me, I know you say Beck is an evil character, but I almost feel like he veers more into like the darker side of like almost chaotic neutral.
Yeah, very much so.
Where he very much has his own laws and rules and customs very clearly.
Yep.
And is going to follow them. And as much of that, how that was bad news for us frequently.
Yeah.
I'm like Nico is still very concerned about this very real person named Edward Kettle who can just show up and massacre a town and he's still out there.
Yeah, exactly.
And now is much more powerful than when he started.
Yes.
So,
yeah, definitely.
And Nico is kind of mourning for Beck because he doesn't really miss him as a person, but he got to see him grow a little bit, and he also is thinking in his head, if we ever do want to stop this horrible person, we are one man down.
Oh, absolutely. Right? Yeah.
One man down.
I think Beck is interesting because he is a character. I think what you said there of like, he is not missed as a person, but like what could have been. Beck is a character designed around this idea of like lost opportunity and having paths cut off in front of him. I've talked a lot about the character and his inspiration and sort of what brought him to be who he was. And there's dicey stuff. There's probably stuff I could have done better in his backstory to be a little bit more like cognizant and I don't know, maybe more like better representation and better less walking on eggshells with some of the things that I've done, because I'm not infallible. I can make writing mistakes and stumble into tropes and stuff that I don't intend to. But with Beck, I think the big thing with him was this idea of like, he is a man who at every opportunity has had something taken from him, and he's often made the wrong choice, but he's never had the ability to make the right choice that like we idealize, right? Like this idealized idea of, oh, well, we're just going to talk down the baddies, or we're just going to negotiate, or, you know, instead of being greedy, we're going to turn and like be philanthropic because that like feels better and is better for the world. Beck is a character that had nothing but violence inflicted on him, on his people, on his family. He was taught from a very young age to see authority as violence in any capacity. He saw order, and in order thought it was just like a tool of oppression. And he became the person he was because he never had that opportunity to just like participate in community. And the one time that he did, the one time where he started to soften, it was stolen from him by a man infinitely worse than him in every regard, from a personal to a moral to a cosmic level. Edward Kettle is everything bad about greed in the world. And in that way, Beck's slow change from the monster that takes a literal character designed as a vampire, as a character that feeds off of other people, to potentially a lighthouse in the darkness, you know, someone who is stuck in the dark out there, who can't move, but guides other people, that stands as an example in the night so that other people don't lose their way. I think that's really powerful. And that's what I was really going for with him.
Another thing that kind of I thought was memorable about Beck and this horrible character who we never even get to see, but still has this kind of looming presence. Edward Kettle seemed like, or rather Beck seemed like the symptom, and Kettle seemed like the cause, right? Like,
yes.
Direct.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so like that was kind of how I was viewing those two characters and their dynamic.
I mean, the scam, I mean, there's a lot going on with Beck's backstory, and a lot of the things I was thinking about were like, what's the scam of the American dream? And like all of that stuff, like getting heady about it, and like for lack of a better word, like how vulnerable people can be when they're taken advantage of in terms of like faith and political ideals. And like Beck, full stop, doesn't realize it, is a communist. Like, he believes in people living off the land together to make life better for each other. But he got that taken away from him by someone who said he believed that, but really was a scam artist. And like, even before that, like the way that Edward,
a lot of champagne socialists who
yes,
say that they really, really care about the working class and giving everyone equal opportunities and an interest in equity, and in the moment like homeless move into the backyard, they're like, nope, can't have that.
Yes, absolutely. And like this idea of like people believe in the ideal, but the ideal can be used as a shield as well, and that's very scary. And like when that happens, it can be very dangerous. And you know, that was Beck. It's just like this idea of like America took from his people. His father couldn't even stand up for his own ideals, deserted from the Civil War, very intentionally, did not detail what side of the war his father was on because it doesn't really matter. All that matters is that he ran away. And like just that idea of like Beck is a character that is a product of all of these very corrupt and fallible institutions of faith and belief and ideal. And this is what happens when someone is pushed out of these systems. And so yeah, I mean, I think with Kettle is a con man. He is a schemer. He's an opportunist, and he's a person that like, I can't tell you at this point, I have not written this far, but like, I can't tell you at this point what Kettle actually, like if he planned for this, if he knew what would happen, or if he stumbled into immortality and is just taking advantage of it at this point, you know? As an occultist, he certainly had more information than Beck did, and Damascus and Billy absolutely helped him in that, but who the fuck knows, you know? And like, how much of faith and ideal is a facade for people that are willing to take advantage of those who aren't quick enough to clue in? And like that's the danger of a character like Edward Kettle, and that's what he represents. So I think Beck is a character that learned a lot of hard lessons, and yes, he did die in the end, so he was buried by that. But I think that makes a lot of sense and is very satisfying. I'm very satisfied with his conclusion, so to speak. One person asked what vampire clan would Beck be. Beck was inspired by the Nagaraja and the La Sombra. Those are the two vampire clans that Beck was most heavily influenced by. So.
Oh, excellent. I'm amazed that ended without us fighting Beck.
That fucking
yeah,
roll.
I was really
wild
happy with
about
how
how that
that
went.
all went down. Yeah, everything. Just the way you withstood Erebus, and what happened with, aiming the gun at the ceiling of the cathedral instead. Like everything about that was super satisfying.
Dice are just too powerful.
I love
They
them.
rule.
We would have had to have
they
another
ruined my life.
session.
That
was
could have been pretty drawn out. Yeah.
I don't think there was enough literal time to fight back.
Yeah.
That would have been brutal.
Beck wins if all the players go to sleep.
Beck, oh my God. Ka and I had this really long conversation before anyone else joined the voice chat at like 5 p.m. today, where we were like, does Beck increase his vigor in case he needs to fight the party and soak more wounds? Because that might be a thing. And if we want to make this combat a big deal, I got to get that die up to a 10.
But instead, we convinced him to take the edge that makes him do more damage to supernaturally evil creatures, which would not affect any of you.
Yes.
The possessed Bucky gun makes narrative sense on its own, but did we ever actually explain what it did mechanically to the audience?
I think I said it out loud when I first gave it to you as loot, but we could rehash that.
I can't remember, but it shoots with Bucky's like revenant like shooting skill. Like he was already a nightmare shot that Beck was lucky to survive fighting, so that could have gone very bad.
Yeah, I think Beck was actually very close to either taking a large amount of wounds or getting knocked out straight up during that duel, and only won it because he had his danger sense draw first. Ability.
I was very ready. I was ready to commit to that obvious, like, literal Chekhov's gun. And so I made a point to, like, resurface it periodically. Like, when Beck was going all ravenous and feral on the train, like, Argro was reminding everyone of the gun, essentially. And so it's like, haha, narrative. But I didn't think it would fire until the end, and I had no fucking clue what it was going to do or how that was going to pay off. I was like, fuck, this is in the story now. I can't ignore this. It has to come up again. For a minute there, I thought what was going to happen is that because Cassidy ran after the taunt, I kind of thought that his next appearance, because of how quickly the fight was ending, was going to be the party walking out to find Cassidy, and then his fucking arm just shoots up, and then that's just a surprise for everyone. But then I'm like, oh fuck it, the story's ending right now.
Gotta run in.
I can't just wait in the hallway like Sans. This was a wild ride. I'm so tired. I got so tired so fast.
I'm emotionally exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good though. Thank you guys again.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Ka.
I'm really gonna miss this.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sad.
It's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys every week.
Everyone get on the Patreon to enable this to happen biannually or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the realistic scale is, but definitely the money needs to be there.
Yeah. When people are gonna ask in the chat, I know I've actually seen people ask already tonight, but we don't know when Cape Escape 2 is gonna start. We need a few months to build the coffers back up so we can afford it.
Yeah, to pay the artist.
It is very expensive to produce this show. This is not us just making it up. It is more than a paycheck for me. My whole paycheck. It is more than that to produce this show. So it will take some time to get the coffers back up and produce it. But I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that people enjoy that.
Somebody mentioned Cassidy talking down at people. When I realized that I made the taunt character, and then we were going to go spending the majority of our adventure in some kind of weird fantasy, like Dark Crystal Land thing, I was sincerely panicking about how he was even going to interact with most fights, and how I was going to, like, as somebody who's really, really, really sucks at improvising dialogue and freezes all the time, and has does best at quips and nothing else. The idea that I had to improvise insults for the entire campaign every time fights happen, which I didn't know how often they would happen or who they'd be against, and I had to not have them be in any way offensive. Like, they had to be contextual and like scenario based insults, because you have to be nice for the audience for your insults. It's like, I was like, I don't know how the fuck this is gonna pay out. What have I done to myself?
You gotta taunt like Verm.
I was very afraid of like how I was going to come up with contextual insults for each scenario, because you have to, like, you can't. There's 100 things you should not say. I was worried.
You did a great
job.
job.
I think it was good to be a little bit worried though, because being on edge kind of makes you focus a little more, right? Which makes you a little bit more present in the campaign.
And the frazzled nature kind of fits for Argo/Cassidy.
I did not know what I was doing half the time, because this was like my first of this system. I've never played anything besides Pathfinder or D&D, so this was just completely new to me. It was really cool.
Yeah. I think this is everyone here's first time with the system, except for Dax. I think he's played Deadlands before. And
it was my first time, yeah.
Continuing the tradition, I think we're also going to play a game next season no one's played yet.
Yeah, and the game, the season that I'm DMing will be done in Call of Cthulhu. So, yeah, prep for that. That's a crunchy ass game. People,
any engines.
It's percentile based and it's roll under. So you want to roll under your percentile skill level, and there's a lot of skills. This is something that people will learn about me. We played relatively rules-light games so far, but I fucking love dice. So we're gonna roll a lot of dice. I'm very excited about it.
Do you have any reveals about next season? Is there anything locked down? I have no idea.
What am I locked down? We're definitely doing Cape Escape.
Yep.
Sandals will return.
Sandals will return. It takes
Javier
place.
will return for sure.
Javier will return. I don't know about Grayson. Grayson might want to like sit this out. We might have someone new. This is like what, 10 years later? We might have
7 years later.
7 years later.
Yeah.
Or Grayson getting dragged back out of retirement.
I looked up, so that number might sound crazy, but I looked up all of the crimes that that Mr. Man could be held accountable for, and I removed all of the charges where I was like, okay, he has the best lawyers in the world, and he's really dumb and really negligent. What kind of negligence charges can he get off on? And the base charges were like 15 years halved for good behavior, so 7 years. And I was like, okay, that's going to be where Cape Escape 2 starts. It's like 7 years in, he's being released on good behavior.
Poor Jet. But yeah, the plan, the minimum plan that I know of is that it's supposed to be at least Javier and Sandals and Jet, plus or minus any other swapped out characters, given that other characters don't have as much direct relevance to being brought back.
Yep.
And I've compared it repeatedly to like It Part 2, like Time Skip and and Evil Isn't Dead, with one crucial caveat being that I haven't actually watched It ever. I don't know what happens.
You got enough to.
I know that there's a time skip and everyone's older now, and it's the same problem still.
You gotta have a party.
So
in
something's
the sewer
gonna
with a
drag.
psychic spider.
Something's gonna drag a party of 5 or 6 people back in, and it's probably gonna involve an upsetting scene where Sandals knocks on Jet's door, and Jet lives the worst day of his life in 7 years, seeing Sandals' face again.
We have so much planned for Sandals and Jet. I am looking forward to putting you through actual hell.
Jet will have gone from athletic active day beanpole to dad bod sweater vest.
This is gonna.
He's gonna be.
Want to subscribe to this newsletter?
He's gonna be a middle-aged belly guy, because he's been not working the very, very, very active job that he did when Mr. Man wasn't in jail.
Meanwhile,
he still has the eating habits of working man.
Yeah, because he doesn't care about that job. Like, he doesn't care. Like, if Mr. if Bella's not there anymore, he literally does not want to stay with the nightmare influencer culture anymore. So he's just out and.
Meanwhile, Sandals is a super fit pickleball playing multimillionaire tech CEO.
Because you based him on that fucking
Walter
Jared Leto
Tattersall
character.
No, Walter Tattersall.
No, the other guy.
Yeah,
the guy that played
Wood
Topher
in
Grace.
Yellow Jackets. Oh, also Topher Grace from that season of
yeah, Topher Grace
Black
in that
Mirror,
season
but-
looks like he's Jared Leto.
Yes, yeah. So that'll happen. But yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be Jet's worst actual nightmare in a way that is
Yeah.
very tangible. It will
Just
be very
paying
fun.
off the epilogue. I said it before, which I also improvised unplanned. Jet is a washed up, mediocre comic book artist that has been riding off of the residual money of his imprisoned husband.
Someone says Sandals is a gamer, Chad, while Jet is a jobless virgin. And I just want to be very clear. Sandals has never played a video game in his entire life and probably never will.
Yeah, and Jet plays Madden. So much Madden.
Oh,
He has every Madden. We established that this canonically in his depression packing for the fucking Cape Escape trip, he accidentally only packed the Madden games and not the Xbox, which was from my improv of what was inside Jet's trailer when Toaster asked, and I hadn't planned it.
That's very funny.
That's
Marty,
great.
Madden games and the frustration sculptures.
Do
That
you
was
think you're gonna?
Yeah, the frustration sculptures and his depressing morning of having a snowball for breakfast. A snowball and a cigarette.
Oh, ugh.
It's a horrible character. Everything I say makes him hotter to some people.
Yeah.
Marty,
yeah.
do you think you're gonna play Grayson again, or are you gonna make a new character for CE2?
I have to imagine it's a new character, but I could see it being one of Grayson's kids.
That could be really fun.
No.
Oh no.
I'd love to see like Snapper or something. Like, could be so good.
What if he's still wearing the Mr. Man shirt?
Oh, it's old and faded and flaking from going through the dryer. You know, like 27-year-old fucking shirt. Like,
My dad
unbelievable.
risked his life to get me this shirt.
No. It works better if he's extremely gay. Because then it's like this old crop. He's wearing this like ancient Mr. Man shirt as a crop top over his real clothes.
Because it was child-sized.
These
Trip
punk kids.
Trip Rat says Sandals has never played a video game but was in deep with ARGs, and my only response to that is, have you literally ever met a Gen Z who loves Five Nights at Freddy's? Literally none of them have played the game. They just watch it on YouTube.
Yeah,
They
no one
watch
plays
Markiplier
Five Nights at
play it.
Freddy's. No one actually ever has.
It's
Especially
true.
not the people that made the movie.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited about CE2. My campaign is set in Call of Cthulhu. It will take place the week between Christmas and New Year's, 1924 to 1925. And that is all I will say.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
I'm very
intrigued.
excited about it. It is gonna be a scheduled game that each session will be a day, and there will probably be
Ooh.
7 sessions. That
Yeah.
is
What,
the idea.
what year did you say this takes place in again?
1924 to 1925. The week between the year. So the day after Christmas to New Year's Day.
Okay, so Ka's doing GMing for Cape Escape 2 then.
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I will be running this game. I don't know if the game that I'm running is going to be immediately after Cape Escape 2 or not, or like going to be the in-between game for there. We still have some other things to work on, and planning this is going to take some time, but that's my plan. That's all I can say right now about this. I've already said more than I wanted to, so that's all you get. Begin
Hey.
planning if you want to. And it's in the Call of Cthulhu system.
We've milked him of his secrets.
So, yep, Roaring 20s game. I'm very excited.
Absolutely looking forward to that. I need to go read all of Lackadaisy to prepare.
Yes,
mean-
please read Lackadaisy. Watch Bacano. Bacano is a big influence.
I've
I'll
watched
need-
Bacano 3
I'll need
times, but I
setting
want to watch
homework.
the dub. I've heard the dub is good.
The dub's fantastic.
Tracer. I'm just gonna like base my entire character on Lackadaisy as well, and it's just their entire biography is just one panel of chocolates from 1920. And that's all they are.
I think Deirdre's son probably looks a lot like Freckle.
Aw.
I didn't think about that when I was
Freckle.
making him, but yeah, Flynn Gorman, he's handsome.
His
You're gonna get
eyes
all the
light up
girls.
with murderous intent.
Ain't that the
I wish
cutest thing you ever
Lackadaisy
did see.
existed.
But yeah.
Dude, but
Anyway.
the pandemic and animation killed it dead. It has the last update was in 2020.
Oh
No, yo,
We'll get
That's worse
more.
than Tagashi.
been a while. Lackadaisy is incredible.
It is. It's very good. Highly recommended.
I have hardcovers of it.
But yeah, Lackadaisy is great. Highly worth reading. Highly worth watching the animated. I can't wait for the animated show. The pilot was fantastic. Great stuff. Heavy influence on the game I want to play.
I was
I'm
about
a
to
sucker
say.
for
I was about to say.
Southpaw
I'll just make Zib, but then I did. I just finished playing Zib. I just played Zib for the last 2 months. Zib's my
Well.
favorite Lackadaisy character.
I think this is probably where Deadlaws ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thank you so much for playing our remaining players. Invites for whatever the next game we end up playing will go out eventually. For those who are watching, keep an eye on Patreon. That is where you will get all of the updates as well as our socials. I am toaster.live on B-Sky. We are at Gnollplaying on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because there's
And I don't remember what we
character
are on
limit.
B-Sky.
we don't have a blue sky.
Okay, we don't have Blue Sky.
I didn't get
We
around
should
to it.
make one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just
Um,
didn't.
No
So
playing
that's your
games
homework.
on Patreon, of course. Does anyone else have anything they want to plug before the end of Deadlaws?
Area Quies got a Twitter. It's Tune Sniffer. Go sniff that tune.
If you are of penis age, once again,
If you are of penis age.
of penis
absolutely.
age,
Yes.
kink positive penis age.
Yes.
Illusory, you have Illusory Plays, your new your new Let's Play channel.
Yes.
Go watch that. You're playing through Return to Castle
Return to Castle
Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird ass game that people don't remember, and it's really weird.
I can't wait. The reason I'm playing through it is I'm going to make a video about it for my main channel, which is not going to be a super long, like, it's not going to be like a crazy in-depth thing like my Dark Souls videos, but the funniest shit that I've ever done in a video game goes back to that game. I can't wait to share it with everyone because messing around in that game is fantastic.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see it.
And I've got a new video essay on Boring Keith that will come out in like a week or two probably. It's on Patreon
real
already,
good.
99% done. I'll decide a month from now if I like it or not. That's how video essays work, is that you're in the guts of it and you don't want to look at it anymore. But I'm already writing the next one about Beast Complex.
Excellent.
Because I was like, you know
Yay.
what? I should write this just basic brain thing to do when you pass 1 million views on a topic, is you should write about that topic again. So having written about Beast Stars, I'm like, I should really write about Beast Complex. I'm just sitting here staring at how fucking gay these 3 volumes are. There's a part where 2 guys just keep meeting up on a train to touch each other.
Marty, you got anything you want to plug?
Oh my
You got any
gosh.
avatars or worlds
It's
you've
just
made?
a real plot.
Yo, I am actually getting prepared to launch my first Gumroad asset for VR chat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Hey!
I am building a system for slapping cheese on each other's faces.
Oh, hell
That's
yes.
great. That's great.
This is a prefab we can all get behind.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
I was
exactly.
like, what dragon asset will this be? Nope.
Nope.
Cheese on
100%
face.
going totally off the wall with this.
Craft singles.
So, come find me if you're interested in that. Otherwise, yeah, don't worry about it.
Marty is kashikoi.isadragon.fyi at Blue Sky. Don't forget his username. It's easy to remember if you just remember
It's
that it's
very
Kashikoi is a
funny.
dragon. FYI.
A very funny address.
It is. It's great. It's
I
wonderful.
love it.
And
And
spend more time in a VR chat.
Same. Oh,
I
now
get
I'm
like
gonna have my
I get
Wednesdays
at least like
back.
a 2-week
Oh.
reprieve whenever I finish an essay where I get to just have fun for a bit before I go back to being guilty about being productive.
How about you, George? You have anything you want to plug?
Mostly I just have, my Twitter. That hasn't changed. I will eventually have some big projects. There's been projects I've been working on in the background for like more than 3 years now, and of course, at this point, every other month I'm doing Smoke Room releases, so there's always that. But I am mostly in the plan many, many, many things without being able to show anyone stage of doing projects. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, so I'm on Blue Sky and Twitter, but I think Blue Sky is probably a preferable place to interact because Twitter is kind of chaos.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm George Squares at Blue Sky.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, with that, I think we're going to go offline for the night. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We will see you again for our next game, which will likely be Cave Escape 2 sometime.
Yep. This show made possible by Patreon. Oh God, please, dear God, oh no.
This show is supported by viewers like you. Kurano sponsor no teikyo de okurishitemasu. All right, let's go. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.